Hello, and thank you for clicking on the video. So, we're going to be going over Frost, the old Ice King. I've been really enjoying Frost these last, few years. Ever since that we had, the Overguard changes or whatnot, and then they applied those changes to his 4, and they just made, or hit the augment for his 4. And then they also, buffed his 4's armor strip. So, you've got all those changes and whatnot, and then I think they don't quote me on this, but I think they also his one augment I think was also a part of the sweeping augments that got their first ability holds applied to their weapons or whatnot. I think he was a part of that. It was him and Oberon and a couple of other Warframes that also got buffs like that. So that also helped as well. But yeah, I think Frost is a pretty damn strong Warframe, and I don't think enough people really talk about him enough as of late. I'm also aware that Frost is a newer, is a Warframe that you can get in the fairly beginning parts of the game. So if you're a newer player and you're watching this, I am going to show kind of some mod roadmaps or whatnot to aim or get towards for Frost. And also for newer players, there is a $2 little starter bundle that you can get that's got some affinity boosters and whatnot. It also has a Fulman in it, and that's going to be a full potatoed Fulman, which is going to be really good if you're starting off. Now, that being said, games like this, not that D is particularly, greedy or whatnot, or, I feel like falls in his Bandcamp or anything, but, this is how, some slippery slopes happen. It starts with $2, then it's 20, then maybe it's 200, and then you're selling your kidney. So, please just, bear in mind it's been responsibly. Not trying to have someone go into a little bit of a gambling spree. Not necessarily with Warframe. I don't think you can do that in Warframe, but just, gateway drugs are gateway drugs. So, yeah, we're going to get into the build here. Oh, also, that $2 pack also has this really cool ephemera I have. So if you're a later game player like me and you don't want a starter pack for $2, I think this ephemera is worth $2 personally. So, going over the Archon charts here just really quick. These are none of these are really mandatory, with the exception of these casting speed charts. So, because his 4 takes a little too long for me to cast, at least for my taste, I've got 2 casting speed charts in here, and that speeds up everything by a lot. I would honestly say that 2 casting speed shards for later in the game, kind of important, because you don't want to just be just kind of stuck there or whatnot, and then that really helps speeds everything up. And we're just going to go over his abilities here just really quick. So his passive is just he makes enemies being frozen or whatnot with the cold sass and everything. He just makes that last longer. Cool. Freeze is actually pretty. I think freeze is actually pretty decent, because let's say you're a newer player, because I hope they're still here. Let's say you're a newer player and right in front of you is a problem. Well, when you hit 1, you freeze it, then you get to shoot it, then it should start becoming less of a problem. So yeah, maybe not too useful maybe as you get higher and higher and whatnot, but just starting off, I think freeze is actually a pretty decent ability, especially for newer players running into things maybe they need a little bit of help with. This is the ability that you subsume. And then I'm with Snow Globe here. Snow Globe has a health value and everything that enemies can hit and break, and then this protects you. It protects objectives, objectives in mobile defense, regular defense, and things like that. And then, oh, that screenshot actually, or that showcase there just kind of showed that off. So what you saw Frost throw at his snow globe, that was his one. So that's what you can use if you need to like break your snow globe. You can just throw your one at it, and then that shatters the snow globe like that. See, he just used his one, and then that broke the snow globe. And then the snow globe's health value scales with I believe his armor. Well, I know it's his armor. I'm trying to think what else it is. I think it's his armor and health. I don't think it's power strength. I know like the augment for Avalanche, the Overguard goes with power strength, but I don't believe that the health with Snow Globe scales with power strength. Maybe with the augment for Snow Globe it does, but I digress. Oh, another neat little interaction that there is with Snow Globe that I almost forgot to mention. So when an enemy is frozen, and you're like, let's say you're like right in front of them, and you just hit 3. They can go. They'll basically go flying forward, and if they hit terminal velocity and they hit an object like a wall or anything, they're gonna die. Which is kind of funny when you can like get it to work just right. I'm not quite sure, because sometimes it works and it's funny. Sometimes you just kind of like nudge them. There's a very, I feel like, fine line between like a gentle nudge, like gently nudging the enemy, and then making the enemy go into, what's the scientific term am I looking for? Fuck off speed. Because when they hit the fuck off speed and they hit a wall, they die. And it's very, very funny. When we get into the survival, I'll try and showcase that off. And then Avalanche, this is his bread and butter. Like this makes Frost. This is what will freeze the world, if you will. So, and then it also will like reduce armor with the augment. It gives you overguard. This does everything that you basically want it to do. Again, with the augment, I have to keep prefacing with the augment, because this is a Warframe where he does pretty much want the augment on anything that's like higher, well, mid to higher level. But those are his abilities basically, kind of in a nutshell. And then going to go over like the Fullman build here. Again, like having the 60 capacity here is really nice, because you can just kind of throw some things in here. Split chamber, I believe, does come with that pack as well, so you can just level that up a little bit, throw that in here, you're good. A little bit of crit rate, a little bit of damage, some 90/90 mods. You know, just throwing things in here, throw in whatever damage mods, throw in whatever crit mods, whatever thing that you have that just kind of fits. Hell, you could probably even maybe throw a Forma in this thing and then throw more stuff in here. I maybe wouldn't go like more than a single Forma if you're a newer player. Just something like this, and you'll be just fine. I wouldn't worry too much about it. But you know, if like you're really enjoying the Fullman and you don't think you'll get the Prime soon, you know, like one Forma to add, you know, like some crit damage, or maybe you got a little lucky on like the planes, and then you've got like the vigilante armaments or whatnot. You know, you can just add to it. So I think there's, you know, like worse ways to spend Forma, especially when you're newer. But yeah, this is a little build that you can use like with the Fullman if you're like just kind of starting out, because most of that stuff should be fairly early in the game. And then for the beginners, little bit of range, little bit of efficiency, always nice. Energy isn't as abundant when you're a newer player, so efficiency is always welcome. Little bit of power strength. Ignore this because of the power strength that I have on the Archon charts. This is higher than what it should be. Little bit of flow for like the more energy, and then Dreamer's Bond is awarded for free, basically, I believe, from a junction. The big like crux of this would be like you just trying to get Icy Avalanche. If you can't obtain this, then I would probably just suggest to just make him like just default tanky. So like this would be using, like your steel charge. This would be using, your vitality. Again, I know like most of mine things are maxed. Your things don't have to be maxed. You just, you've been playing the game for, not too long. It'd be fine. Like most of your mod should probably look like how like my this metal fiber is, like 2 from the top. Just save yourself the endo, save yourself the credits. Just leave things 2-ish from the top. You'll be just fine. Yeah, I think that's about it for the newer player stuff. So this is going to be like the higher-ish end builds here. So I have been messing with Bright Bonnet on Frost, and I have really enjoyed it. What used to be here for me was Nourish, and if you want to use Nourish, by all means, go ahead. That's what I was doing, and it was fantastic. But I figured I would try and use something else that wasn't Nourish, and then something that I think that more people might have a subsume of, because Noko is a somewhat newer frame, and I think that like people are still trying to grind for that and do all that kind of business, and people may have like extra, or may have like grinded enough to get him into the subsume or into the helmet. So yeah, just using Bright Bonnet, this gives you everything that Frost is gonna like want and need. More energy, more power, strength. Hard to really go wrong with Bright Bonnet. In addition to the power, strength, growing power, cunning drift, just more range. You do not need prime sheer-footed on him because of the 4 augment, just giving you a bunch of overguard. So yeah, PSF not needed, not required whatsoever. But yeah, the main purpose of the build is just as much range and power strength as we can. So that explains the stretch. That explains the overextended. The blind rage with the negative duration. This is counteracted by Bright Bonnet, so you're fine. I haven't noticed any real energy issues. There is an Archon flow in here because, well, it's Frost, and I think it's kind of fits him. But this is not needed, so you could just use regular flow and you'll be like just fine. And then we've got continuity, a little bit of duration, and then Umbral Intensify, a little bit more power strength, always welcome. And now for the final augment I'm running, this is a double augment build. Spoiler alert, the 3 builds are all double augment. But Freezing Force, this, I really have been enjoying the augment for his 1. Just holding it down, giving all of my weapons, well, I think it's, yeah, like your primary, secondary, and I believe this also goes to melee. Just giving them like 300% cold damage. Like, it's just free, just kind of like gun damage, weapon damage, like it's just on the weapon. It's just there to use, and I think it's really good. If you don't like the Freezing Force, that's fine. You can use like the other Globe Augment if you want to. I maybe wouldn't necessarily aim towards like the other 2 like augments myself, but if you want to, by all means. I do think that like biting Frost, like on paper, like this sounds crazy, but I feel like in actual practice, this doesn't. Kind of crazy that 200 crit rate or crit chance and 200 crit damage, like, doesn't make it into the build, but it's just kind of how like Frost kind of is now. Like, because we can armor strip with ease basically, and like weapons do so much damage and melee does so much damage and our sentinels can do so much damage, like adding more damage with your damage in this way, I don't think is too, to me, worth it. Now, depending on like where you are in the game, like let's say like your weapons are maybe like a little like under par. Let's say like you're trying to like get things together, or you just can't quite like make certain like you can't hit maybe like certain damage thresholds, then yeah, I can maybe see a use for biting frost. But for like 80-90% of like other use cases, because things are armor stripped, because the enemy actually because an enemy is armor stripped, they've got viral on, they're going to have viral on them, they're getting primed by something else, then they get shot and they die. Like how Frost basically is he makes people cold and alone, and he gives them space aids, well, through other means, not through himself, but they're going to have space aids on them essentially. Frost walks up, shoots them, and then they die. That is what happens more or less. I need to finish off the arcanes here. Molt augmented again, just for power strength. I want as much power strength as I can for like Bright Bonnet, and then for the freezing force here. So that to me is really good. I've been using truculence. This has been actually pretty solid for me. Just spreading a bunch of viral whenever I cast my 4. It has been pretty decent. If you do not want to use this, or like let's say you're using Nourish instead, Ice Storm, really good. This is what I was using prior and before. Ice Storm is really, really good on Frost. Shock and surprise, Ice Storm is good on the Ice King. And then I don't have a like melee Frost per se, because there are other frames that I choose to do like melee with, but like if you wanted to do something like War Cry, or you wanted to do something like Wrathful Advance, that can very easily just go here over Brightbond, and you can turn Frost into a melee frame. Like you can, there are so many things that this Warframe can do. You just have to, like, you can drop the freezing force, and you can just kind of throw in here like whatever you like realistically like need. Like let's say your like subsume of choice or whatnot maybe doesn't like need or want like that much range. You can just throw this off, maybe keep keep like some range, like keep some decent range or whatnot, so that the 4 can still do its job. But or maybe you just don't care. You can just take all that off, and then you've got 2 free mod slots to mess with. So like so long as like the bulk of this, is still like here and still intact and whatnot, you can largely do whatever I feel like your heart's content like really feels like doing. And because Frost is Frost and he just doesn't give a damn, you're gonna make it work, and it's gonna be like good. Now, is he going to be like better than like some of like the like melee stars like Kalervo or Valkyr? Oh, hell no. But guess what? He's armor stripping, everything's frozen, everything's going to be getting primed because of your companions. There are definitely worse choices, and I think like Frost is pretty good for just like buffing and running around and just not dying. So there's that. This is like the gun version of the build, so instead of like Wrathful Advancer, War Cry or anything, this would just be with Zada's Whisper. So yeah, like same kind of principle, basically just getting as much range as I can, getting as much power strength. This is actually using the arcane Ice Storm here just for more strength and more duration. Here though, I did take out the Blind Rage here just for like my energy economy, just so that I can make sure that I can cast my abilities, because I'll be casting them like a little bit more because of like the lower duration, but everything's fine. This honestly shreds. It's pretty much like a copy pasta, more or less. I just I kind of took my own advice, and well this doesn't quite work for me, so I just gave him power strength, just not as much power strength, and guess what? It still works. For this, I would say, if since if you are like doing like a gun build, I would say to like keep the freezing force or whatnot in here. But if you wanted to do like subsume something else over here that benefits like a melee build or whatnot for you, that's fine too. You don't have to necessarily just stick to this. You can customize and move things around as you need to. And then now this brings us in a build that I've been kind of playing around with a little bit, and it's been kind of funny just messing with Tesla Nervos. Granted, like having this on here allows you to like kind of get away with stretch. Although you can use stretch in the other builds if you want to, if your companion just applies electricity. But with this, I don't have to. I can just use a whatever companion and show things off. But yeah, like you can, if you've got the mod space for it, you can use Archon Stretch in these and have your companion just like taser things, and then you can get that benefit. But yeah, the big star here is the Tesla Bank. So this is going to, when enemies have that Tesla marker over them, they can go ahead and just detonate basically, and then that will then spread to other enemies. And I've been seeing a lot of builds like this, and they look pretty fun. But one common thing that I kind of notice is that for a Warframe to take like pretty decent advantage of this, they kind of want an armor strip. Well, that is kind of, Frosthole kind of shtick. So with Tesla Nervos and then with the augment, he is a mini nuker, which is, pretty good. And again, is he the best at this? No. Is this still pretty damn good? Yes. Because if you can, like, I have used Frost in a decent bit of, like, ETAs and EDAs and everything where I don't get to, pick the best of the best of the best. But, Frost can be whatever you need him to be, and he can get the job done, and he does it with the shit-eating grin on his face. So, yeah, I just feel like more people just need to give this Warframe a shot and just kind of, like, use him and try him and everything, because I feel like a lot more people would maybe, like, come around. I understand he's got, like, some little, like, pitfalls, like his 4 lasting too long. Like, the Biting Frost augment probably should just be a part of, like, his passive or something. Maybe not the whole 200, maybe more like 100 or maybe like 150 or something. But, well, no, hold on. I think Nyx actually has, like, 200 crit rate for primaries and secondaries. So maybe this would be fine. No, I'm just thinking out loud. But yeah, I am going to be showing off the Tesla Bank build. Shock and surprise, the gun one works pretty damn well, and I don't think I need to show off like the bright bonnet and showing off that this works, because this is basically just Nourish Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. So yeah, I'm going to show off the Tesla Bank and yeah, get that kind of, whoop, this is the wrong build. Get that kind of rolling. Oh, I did forget to go over my actual, like, weapons for the build, so hold on, we're not done just yet. So I'm just going to use the Phantasma Prime here. The Corrosive for this won't do too much because I'm going to be shredding all the armor, but the Phantasma does a lot of damage, so it's not going to matter a whole lot. Just your typical little build here, I feel like. This build, I am running the Shotgun Vendetta. So this is pretty good, especially when, like, I'm just, like, barrel deep in someone's anus. This just procs all the time. And then multi-shot on beam weapons is amazing. If you don't have Vendetta, this would be a Crux build for you that you could then use. This is very strong. This is mostly what I use. I'm just using Vendetta because I haven't used it in a little while. But yeah, like this works very well. The Crux armor is just for corrosive and just shredding a bunch of armor itself. This is a Debilitate build that I was messing with. Not with Frost, with like someone else. With Frost actually though, because of enemies just kind of having a problem with living. Debilitate doesn't quite like stack up because you need to apply like a bunch of statuses for that, and by the time you get to that point, they're already like kind of dead. So yeah, like debilitate in general on the Phantasma Prime is really good, but I'm just gonna stick with the Vendetta here just to kind of show that off a little bit. And then I've got a other like damage kind of new core that I made that I'm going to be showing off here. Just something that I just kind of threw together. I know this says Avenger. I was messing with something. I was like, ignore the name. But yep, just using Innervate to get a bunch of crits, and I've gotten up to like red crits before, and that's always hilarious to see the new core red crit. But the standard just damage, multi-shot, crit, elements galore. I know this looks really wacky, but through some little fringe testing I did, this was pretty good. Like you wouldn't think that all this nonsense would kind of work, but man, it does. If you didn't want to use this brand of nonsense, I have this brand of nonsense because, well, this is typically what I think most people just kind of do for like a damaging new core kind of build. Same thing here, just running Innervate and whatnot. Running the Merciless Gunfighter here for some punch through. Beam weapons do like punch through, just a little fun fact. You get to like go through more enemies and whatnot. And then, in case anyone wanted a little primer build, little priming build, some Ration, Magnetic Blast, Corrosive, hard to go wrong. Getting punch through. And then same basic thing, just with like heat and viral, just spreading that out here. And then this one and then I think they both have, yeah, they both have dexterity arcanes to help with melee warframes. So there's that. The melee can be whatever you want it to be. I'm just having this just to be a little movement stick. I'm probably not gonna be meleeing anything with the Okina Prime. I'm just gonna be showing off like the guns and that he can, he can do the gun things I'm saying that he can do. So we're just going to switch to this because that'd be funny if I ran that into a Steel Path mission. So there is all of that. And here we go. Oi. I didn't really go over the companion, but it's just Helios. He won't be doing too much. It's more so just me kind of showing off Frost here and like what he can do and stuff. Oop, if I can hit the flipping X button.
Life support has been cut off. They're trying to choke you out.
Get a little bit of energy to start, let them all come through. And oop. More enemies, there we go. More enemies. Haha. And yeah, they're all frozen. Look at that. Frozen, space age, and dead. That is the accessible bank. Yeah, they're all gone. Hold it down, throw it out, strip the armor, shoot them. Gone. 500k worth of gone. Yeah, the augment's pretty decent. And I'm being invaded by Red Veils. So where are they at? Hello? Hello? Oh. Yeah, I cast 4. Y'all can't kill me, sorry. Oh, there's red clip I was talking about. And this. See, I'm like barely casting my 4. And it just doesn't matter. Actually, I want to show off the ink. Okay, so everything's frozen and then 3. Yep, there we go. I was able to hit the fuck off speed and they just hit, they hit the wall and died. I don't quite understand what the conditions are for that, because I can... Oh, he slid all the way back and collided. That's funny. Although I think he slid back and nothing happened to him. I'm not too sure like what the trigger for... He hit the ground. So yeah, not 1,000% he died. Not 1,000% sure what the necessary like trigger for like that is, or condition that needs to be met. I just know that like they have to be, I'm down here. They just have to be like frozen. And then this and oh, he fuck hit the wall. Yeah, see, like they didn't hit the wall. They hit the wall, but they didn't die. So maybe it is like a distance thing. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of spitballing at this point. Well, okay, not that I don't always spitball when I get to these parts, but You get what I mean.
Get ready
And
for a
we're
capsule.
here, and we're here, and we're there. More armor strip. See, I can just kind of do whatever with Frost. Like, I can just do jumping jacks. Like, and then, oh, this will allow me to show off the augment here. So cast this. And then, well, he got it. Oh, that's strange.
Another life support
Oh, I think I
capsule is
actually
now
gained
available.
overguard. Oh, there we go. There it goes. There we are. There we go. See, they all have the Vire on them. Not sure why that didn't work on the other guy, but yeah. And then you can see that even though I have corrosive on this, it's still they're still just dying. Like it don't matter. Oh, what's that one thing Wolf Arrow says? Gator don't play no shit. I feel like you can just put Frost in that analogy, and it works perfectly fine. Tesla Bank. This augment is a little bit better than I thought, although some people don't like playing a minigame, and I'm kind of one of them, because I think I just kind of prefer just like the Bright Bonnet build that I have for doing things, but, you know, like, clearing out a little bit of a room here with the, you know, Tesla Nervos and stuff, doing, you know, just casual 500Ks, you know, just clearing out things. I mean, that's pretty decent. You know, like, all things considered. Like, Old Frost, there's no way he was thinking about oh, you're not frozen. And now you are. Yeah, like, Old Frost, there's no way in hell he was, like, thinking about this or anything. He's fine. He has statuses on him. And now he's dead. Yink. I don't know what happened to him. But, yeah. I wonder how many new players actually stick and watch the whole video. Oh shit, I used my operator. I doubt they stick around that long.
Operative has just made their first discovery. Keep up the good work. When you are ready, go to extraction.
Alright, well, that's the end of this. Where is... Where is the Acolyte? Hello? Yeah, you're gonna die. There we go, I just had to say something. Yink. Man, he's dying. Where is he? Oh, he's right here. So freeze, armor strip. Yeah, so that's not doing too much. Let's do this. There we go. There we go. Yep, you are. I'm sorry. You're just. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, this is Frost. I have no clue why more people don't talk about him. I promise you I don't. But, you know, hopefully this vid can help with some of that stuff. I know he's fairly reliant on having his Spore augment, but I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. I wish Warframes weren't, but I don't feel like that's the big deal. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that DE shouldn't like make some of these things in the Warframes or anything. They absolutely should, but you know, I think there's worse things that could be done. But if you stayed around to the end, first off, you're a trooper. Secondly, thanks for watching. There's more vids on the way. Hope you all enjoyed it. Later.